Okay, Thomas, make your complaints.
Well, it's just these lupin seedlings here. I mean, there people might be thinking, oh, they look well, but yeah, you know, these plants, you know, you entrust Clara, you entrust the youngster to do them and look after them and do a good job. Got 29 pots.
Out of how many?
Out of 80.
Out of 80?
Bloody hopeless. Even then, each of these pots had 2 seedlings put in them, and look there.
Yeah.
There's only one there.
There's
only one there.
I don't know. Do you think she perhaps put the seed in upside down?
I don't know.
Well, you know, how can you put a lupin seed in upside down? It's just ridiculous.
It is. I don't know how you can do it wrong. I think it's a sackable offence, I do.
I do as well. The Royal Horticultural Society have said we are in crisis. The industry is lacking youngsters coming through. This is Eggleston Hall Gardens, and over the next 12 months we're going to take you on a journey of what it's like to run a nursery garden. So we've brought a load of the crown buds down now. You can see they're in these 1 litre pots. They've done really well considering July, August they were just a single bud sliced off a stem, off of a root. Yeah, they've just all got to be dealt with really. It's quite a long laborious process. We also had another delivery of liners in that we were contracted to take. I'm noticing that these liners are almost finished plants. They are really large, I think probably because the suppliers are not doing young stuff because of the coronavirus. There's just no point. You have to hedge your bets if you're a grower, and you don't want to be growing a load of young stuff that you can't sell. Most of this stuff has PBR and we're not allowed to propagate it ourselves. Some of it we've just sold out of, and I haven't got enough stock to be able to do that. But it's very good. This time of the year, when you look outside the potting shed for the next 2 or 3 months, you'll just find that there is just hundreds of plants, thousands, just waiting to be processed like this. These are the delphiniums that we did, well, like the ones we did last week. But they have to be processed, and everything is on its 2nd and its 3rd trip to the potting shed. Stuff comes in when it's very young, or we have cuttings that are grown on. They go up the top of the garden on the wall in beds to grow on. They come back down, get moved up, and then come back down again sometimes for a 3rd potting into 5 litre, sometimes 4th or 5 times. 7.5 litre, 10 litre. As the plant gets older, this is what I mean about the potting shed being the heart of the nursery, because everything that we have comes through here once or twice. It's the defining difference very often between a nursery and a garden centre. A garden centre loads stuff in, straight finished plants off the lorry, bang. We have nothing like that. Even when we buy young stuff that we not allowed to, or we can't propagate, it still has to come here to be grown on. That's the point of a nursery, to nurse plants on to a finished product. But we also sell direct to the public, so we're also retail as well. But we don't really do bits and pieces, anything else. but plants. We do a bit of bloodfish and bone, bit of fertilizer in things, just because we get asked for it. And when people ask you for it, well, you know, we might sell a few canes. Sometimes we get some really good second pots from Yorkshire Pots, and Lisa goes down and collects those. And then they are very good, and we might do that when we have time. But at the moment, the important thing is to concentrate on the stock. We've lost half of our main selling period, so it's imperative that we look after the stock, because that's what we do, and that's where our money is tied up. And I don't want to die destitute, not God. People, they look like they're heading this way to ask questions, so we'll just nip into the potting shed, see what Thomas is up to. Right, what are you up to? Anything interesting?
I'm doing some of my own nibs.
Oh, your own nibs.
These are my own nibs.
So
I'm doing here. It's a little primula. I can't remember whether it wrote down here. It's Primula grandiflora rosea.
Yeah, I think it's grandiflora.
It is grandiflora species,
Yeah.
and then rosea all the other way around. But
it's a nice
yeah,
thing, actually.
it is. Yeah, it's a very nice one.
I always thought it had a darker foliage now, unless it goes darker in the winter.
Yeah, it does have a red tinge. It can
Yeah.
have a bit red tinge. But
So go on then, what are you doing to it?
Nibs. Just I'll take the foliage and I'll just reduce it down. So reduce the transpiration rate.
Fuck me.
Water loss
Water loss.
from the plant. And then I'll just loosen that bottom of the root ball a bit, because I can see there's two little bits there that I'm going to be splitting off. So I'll see there.
Yeah.
I can split that down the middle. Get rid of some of the weed seed. All I'm going to do is part it like that. I'm going to get my knife. Sometimes I find quite handy when you see where flower stems come up. Just split that down the middle. I hope you've caught that.
Yeah.
And just part it like so. Then that bit you see there, it's attached to something, so I've obviously got some root still with it. I'll reduce some of this. Remove some of this old stuff just because I'm going to pot it into a smaller pot, and yeah. That, and hopefully these nibs will end up being about this size
Next
the
year.
same time next year, yeah, and hopefully it's this. We need to bulk this one up again. We've got down to maybe 1.5 plants, so I just need to bulk them up a bit, because if we sold out with one, we really don't know where we'd be able to find it again.
No, you don't.
To
You
sell,
don't see
we don't
it anywhere,
really
really.
see it. So, yeah,
Right.
some of them I can turn into just a couple of plants like that, but that one isn't actually going to divide at all.
We
That's
might
just
as
one
well.
strong bit.
Are you just going to do the whole lot, really? Because
Yeah, I think I'm just going to do the whole lot, but then you see there's one there that I'll be able to get 1, 2, probably 3 or 4 out of.
yeah,
It'll be quite good. Yep.
excellent. Thank you, Thomas.
Alright.
Ah, got a swallow's nest that's got the first egg in it. I have, because I thought maybe they were young ones and they're like not very good at it, but obviously they've been at it.
I told you, I heard a hell of a squawking on yesterday. They must have been at it then.
I didn't know that squawking was a sign of being at it. Mind you, chickens, here, now there's the thing. They're not exactly, there's not much foreplay with a chicken, is there?
No.
No.
He's chasing after him, and he just has to stamp on her back and get her down flat.
I had a thing called a Croat Langshank. It was like a great big chicken. And it used to be first out the pop hole in the morning. And it used to stand there waiting for the first hen to tread when it come out. Straight on top, bang, off you go. They are the most unromantic things ever. There's no like, good morning, Miss Polly, how are you? Are you feeling fruity? No. Drop, bang. That was always the Australian word for foreplay, you know. Do you not know it?
What?
Wake up. Right, we'll start again. We've had a 20-minute break because people, customers and things. Right. Where's the fucking irises gone then?
Well, I've finished then. You're just fannying on, having a natter. I've finished the irises.
I'm going to look at them, they're on the tractor. What's this other thing? Is this Hequacia? That's a lovely plant. That's Hequacia epipactus. Look it up, it's nice. There's a couple of little irises there with some flowers coming. Little flag iris. We used to call them flag irises. I've no idea why they're called flag irises. I suppose because they look like flags. No idea. What's on?
On
what
what
you do?
planet do they look like flags?
I don't know, but that's what they were always called.
I'll get someone writing in the comments and correcting you,
Good.
telling you why.
Yeah.
Save you the hassle of having to Google it yourself.
Right.
Yeah, these you'll be able to have a good ramble on this one.
What is it?
Lobelia syphilitica.
Oh yeah. No, give it a clap. Right. Yeah, Lobelia syphilitica. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's a blue flower. It's one of them plants though. I always think that the flower doesn't look big enough for the size of the plant. Mm-hmm. Can you picture it, Thomas?
Yeah, I can picture it on.
It's like that. What is it? That Leucodia mastidium. I always think that doesn't look balanced.
Yeah, very leafy.
Yeah.
But at least it's one of the lobelias. It is very hardy. It proves to be pretty damn tough.
Yeah.
And it is quite a nice blue. Just ain't got a more flattering name.
Yeah. I don't know where that's come from either. I may have to look that up. Where did we get these from? Or?
These were some of Liz's nibs.
Liz's nibs.
Yeah, I'm handling Liz's nibs.
Dear. Does Martin know?
Liz did these nibs in the back end.
Right. Yeah. Nib is a word we call when we have a plant and we're dividing little pieces off of it. We're just really nibbling away at it, so we call them nibs. And Thomas was just being smutty about Elizabeth, taking a notice.
What do you mean I'm being smutty? They are Liz's nibs. Liz did these nibs.
Now, I know it looks like I'm giving somebody the finger with this, or the two fingers, but I'm not actually. It's just the young growth on these pines, or piceas, not pines. Anyway, they are lovely. You can see how lovely and characterful they are. Arching stems and the new growth. It's just so beautiful and fresh looking. And they are wonderful specimen plants. We have another variety, which is just round the corner. Look at these lovely blue ones. They are, and this isn't for sale, but it's a beauty with long blue, glaucous blue. Glaucous just means silvery needles. But these ones, God, it's pissing down again. We even gave these ones names because they are so unusual. This one has like two heads on it and a long body. I think we call it the two-headed hydra. Looking from the top of it, you see it's split into two sections. An amazing thing. So many people in gardening want trees that are shaped like fucking lollipops. You know, there's a stem and there's the head. Sometimes it's just lovely to have something that's a bit different. Now, what we've called this one, the Dementor. Now, look at that. It is like something out of a Harry Potter film. And that in your garden is marvellous. Probably the best 125 quid you'll ever spend. Having grown up around gardens that had Barbara Hepworth statues in for many, many thousands of pounds, I know which I'd rather have. One of these lovely piceas. What's this one called? The Hoggard. Look at that. Yeah, I'd rather have one of them than a lump of marble with a fucking hole in it. Why would you want that in your garden? Horrible. Right, this is Jude.
Hi!
Jude has brought us over what was a prickly problem. Is no longer a prickly problem.
No.
Or a prickly problem. It's Jude is from works with what do you do, Jude?
I'm a rehabilitator of wild hedgehogs.
Oh, wild hedgehogs.
Wild hedgehogs.
They are like gold dust with for us because of the good they do. And these days, so many of them get damaged and injured through strimming and cars and stuff like that. Is that right?
Yeah, strimming this time of year, really
Strimming.
bad. Injuries are horrific.
Right.
And then I picked one up last weekend with really bad injuries, but then flies had laid eggs, the maggots, they hatched, and it's awful. It's just, yeah, and it happens a lot. I think there's been, Dawn had picked one up as well.
Right.
And then of course, if mothers are disturbed because of people gardening
Right.
with strimmers and
Yeah.
clearing gardens, the
We
babies
had,
get left.
We had some babies in the glass house last year. 5 of them.
Ah, oh wow.
And we know they're still around, so
Yeah.
they're doing really well.
Oh, lovely.
So, tell us about this one, can you?
So Toby came last summer, June or July,
Right.
lame on one of her back legs. It was really swollen, really badly infected, so unfortunately the leg had to be removed.
Right.
The vet surgically removed the leg. So she's been with us through recovery, hibernation, come out of hibernation, and now is ready for the big bad world.
Right.
Although it's not so big and bad in here. It's big,
No.
but not bad.
No, she's got 4.5 acres and
Yeah.
some friends probably around.
Yeah, but it's ideal here.
Yeah.
It's brilliant because they've still got the run of, they've got water, they've got brilliant
Well, they've
places to
certainly
hide,
got
but they're very
water.
safe.
And you're gonna release her near
I
the
am.
stream side.
I am. So I might try and pop her in those trees over there.
Now this is 4.5 acres. Could we get quite a few in here, I think?
Yeah, because they do especially when because we've brought. Well, I've brought one before. I know Dawn's brought them before. So any that have a bit of a disability.
The disability, it doesn't stop them shagging, does it?
Oh God, no! It doesn't stop them moving around either.
No.
She gets around just as she would normally. It's brilliant how they adapt. If it's a back leg, they can't really scratch off parasites and things like they would normally. So that is an issue for that, but they can survive fine in the wild without a back leg. But it's more secure here. Yeah. So that's why we love it. So like I mentioned before, she is very dry because she's been in for so long. It's just because she's been with us for so long. She did have, she's had treatment for mites and things like that, which she doesn't have, but I think it is just because she's been and through hibernation, obviously dries out.
Right.
She's just so dry, and it's a different diet. We feed them on cat food, and although I do try to put a bit of evening primrose oil in or flaxseed oil in the food. So hopefully now that she's out and going to be in the rain and all the other things, she might just start to get back to normal. You've been in for so long. Oh, I'm going to miss you. And she's part of the furniture.
She actually, despite that, she has actually got a boy's name, Toby.
Yes. We'd ask the finders normally to choose a name. Yeah. So that everyone, for some reason, thinks every hedgehog is a male. So we tend to just keep whatever name they've been given, unless it's Spike or Sonic. Because it's a bit, we need something a bit more original. Oh, look, she's having a good sniff. Where are you?
What's she doing?
She's having a good sniff. So, oh my God, I'm in the outdoors.
Look at that.
Hey, where you going?
Do you think she can sniff the wild?
Oh yeah, she's taking in, look at this, she's taking in all the scents around here. That is ideal. Brilliant. So, we will pop you down there and you can go mooching off. There she goes, without a back leg.
We'll just leave her in peace then.
Yeah, and she'll find herself somewhere. She'll have an explore.
And no trouble finding food, you don't think?
No, especially because obviously we've had the rain.
Yeah.
So no.
And there's some more
Should be
showers
absolutely
due.
fine. Yes.
Is this yours?
No, I don't know. Someone must have dropped it. There she goes.
Well, I think she'll be quite happy here.
I think she will be. I mean, who wouldn't be? I would.
I'm not, I just want to go home.
I'd quite happily live here in the peace and quiet. Right, bye-bye, Toby. Oh, you do get attached. I know they say don't get attached, but you do.
Do people really still call them Spike or Sonic?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. And then if I say, oh, well, it's a girl, they'll say, oh, well, we'll call it Spikette. Sonia. Yes, we like to. My daughter normally chooses a name.
Right.
If the finders can't think of one, so if it's a girl, it's always Rainbow, Sparkle, or Diamond, or Glitter, or just something really girly. Oh
Hey.
yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Dawn.
Thank you.
And good luck with that.
Thanks. I'm sure I'll have more for you.
Again, on the Piceas, the lovely new growth. Look at this. This is as beautiful as any flower. It is fresh and vibrant. And it lasts for several weeks. You know, when people ask you how long something flowers, we might say June and July. Strictly speaking, most nurserymen do it. Strictly speaking, that's true. It will flower in June and July, particularly shrubs, or July and August. What we don't tell you is that it's probably the last week of July and the first week of August. So there's a degree of ambiguity there. Most people think, you know, that you can get a plant that's going to flower all year, and if you told them how long it flowers, they really wouldn't be interested. Forsythia, flowering currant, all of these popular shrubs, they only really flower for a couple of weeks. But they do flower in April and May. Now these are our own hybrid lupins. We call them Glamrock hybrids. Every year we select a range of seed. We have a few plants left this year, not many. They're just called Glamrock hybrids. And the idea was to actually isolate the colours and name each one after a glam rock band, but we actually never got to do that. So we just do the hybrids. We take a set amount of seed from each colour, and they are lovely colours. I think we have about 20 seeds left. Sorry, 20 plants. And there is a reason for that, why there aren't so many. And her name is Clara. Look at this. Aren't they wonderful? We will have to select out very soon the colours, because it's really important that we get a good balance. Unfortunately, if you just kept the seed off of some of them, they would revert back to their original colour, which would probably be a sort of an orange like this. So we have to make sure there's a good balance of. It all goes back to Mendel's law, really. Sometimes we get stray seedlings, and I just hoe the buggers out because I can't stand them. But my wife, being from Yorkshire, she'd bloody skin a flea for a farthing. And so she always wanted to keep any odd seedlings that we find in the ground. And this was one of them. This is just one little seedling. I'd have had it out. And it's just growing in the path at the end of the tunnel. We will probably just take seed from this particular lupin and try and keep it pure. But it grows in really harsh conditions. And I mean, that's just in a quarry bottom path. I shouldn't take the mick out of Yorkshire people, should I? They can't help it. We're up in the loft at the moment, and you know, we get swallows that come back every year. And last year they sort of started to lay and then they gave up. We thought the same was going to happen this year, but now remember, this nest is just above our head. And they've been flying in for the last couple of weeks. And if we just have a little look in. There. You can see they've started laying. And they lay one egg per morning. Each morning they come in and lay an egg, and then they go off collecting insects and fattening themselves up for the big sit that's going to come in, because they will sit for 2 to 3 weeks and sort themselves out. It's an amazing thing, really. So why are they doing it? Could you just go through that again? Look at them. Apparently, Lisa has told me, being a science person, that all of these, between the showers, the midges and insects are coming off the trees. So they're having a feeding frenzy. Would you call it a feeding frenzy? Yeah, she's nodding her head now. Look at that. Where's all gummage? So that's what it is. They are, it's absolutely, it's like it's better than watching the red arrows. It's like an aeronautic display. You probably can't pick this up on camera. But, yeah, here they come. And I know they're all fattening themselves up because they'll all be sitting on eggs and things. Amazing. The things in nature. I keep saying amazing. I sound like Thomas when he's saying, this is going on nicely. Oh, I promised him I wouldn't say that again. Go flies. Who's that? Indes. Who is that? Who is it, Doug? Who is he, Doug? You alright, little man? Is it getting a bit hard for you now? Is it getting a bit hard? And you're finding it all a bit tiring? You are, aren't you? Yeah, old bugger. You're an old bugger, aren't you? Yeah. Lovely meadow like this. And you just want to roll on your back and have your belly stroked. Is that it? Yeah, big Jessie. Right, yeah, big Jessie. Fighting my way through the jungle that is Sunnyside, I am towards my summer house. I am struck by this. Now I have so much work in this garden to do, and there's 2 plants here. This is Cornus, a variegated Cornus. It's a Cornus Florida. I believe it's First Lady or Spring Song. I cannot remember. I think it might be First Lady. It's very nice. And then there is that. It's like a ray of sunshine. It's just a laburnum. It's just a type species of laburnum that seeds itself. It's probably just straight Amygdaloides. You can probably hear the bees on it. If it was the common one that's planted with the really long thing, that's a grafted specimen called, it's a cross, a water-eyed cross called Vossii. But this one, oh, look at the roof on this summer house. This project is going to take ages, but I cannot see with lockdown and all this coronavirus stuff getting onto it this year. But this is so lovely. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, what I'm saying is that it's, in a long-winded way, is that it's not the grafted form, and the seedlings of it seed quite freely, and they come true to type, and what's more, they are so easy to grow, and they flower within a year or 2. It's a beautiful thing. Finding my way through more undergrowth. This was an old path along here. I'm quite looking forward to retirement next year and getting on with this. There, in the background, is one of my favourite shrubs, the beauty bush, Courgettes amabilis. Now that's grown up too high for the light. It's about 12-15 feet, but they don't normally grow that large. That pine was the rootstock for something I was experimenting with, and it got left there. It rooted through the pot, and now it's about 25 foot tall. This is a Cityphyllum japonica. It's grown up in almost a straight, almost a columnar way, as opposed to the tall spreading ones. The growth on it, and I'm keeping this back because I think it's a fastigiate form, the growth on it is absolutely upright. There is really very little lax habit. Most of them go up and then over. So that's a little gem I have for the future. Not that I have as long a future as some. And here is a May blossom. This is a really old one that's been hammered around, called Paul's Scarlet. To the right of that is Shirasawanium, the moon maple or half moon maple, the Shirasawanium aureum. It's sitting in a bed of Regersea and nettles. The golden thing at the back is a maple called Princeton Glory. It's a PBR plant. We can't play around with that. But I bunged one in there, and it's absolutely stunning, but it needs more shape. I had expected to get plenty of days off this year because of it's really my last full year. But it's not going to happen with the virus. I'm going to have to I'm there so much time. There are 3 hazels here. The golden hazel, the ordinary hazel, I think it's just a filbert, and then there's a golden hazel, a purple hazel, Hazel Maxima purpurea in the back. They all have nuts, but I'm growing them for the bean poles. These were coppiced 3 or 4 years ago, and I will use these poles. They'll make really good things for growing beans up on the allotments next year. So many things to do when I retire. Now, I had originally thought, that's it, I'm going to finish. But I might as well, if people enjoy these videos, after this year is over, we'll concentrate on these jobs. I'm just not going to be able to do Sunnyside this year. It's just impossible. But you can see amongst the weed, the luxuriant growth there is. Look at that maple, that's Cereus. It is just such a lovely specimen. That is Tucker. Tucker's knocking on. And he's bored. Yeah, Cereus, it's really the only upright dissectum. And there's another brewer's weeping spruce. Over here is a rose. Well, I'll show you this. This is Kiftsgate seedling. It's a seedling of Kiftsgate I grew, and you can see it's going to look fantastic. And there is red pygmy, the maple, and there, I don't know what geranium that is, I can't remember. And there is some alliums, some ferns, and this is all out of hand. Some lovely hostas, and we just do not get time for it. So it will be a good project, and I will share it with you. Over the back there is another Courgettes, Orange Dream, Acer Campestre. You can just see the variegation of Campestre Carnival, and a contorted hazel. So much to be getting on with in so little time, and the body's getting tired. However, I've still got a few years left in me. Talking about old farts, I was wondering how Matthew's getting on with his various sisters and things down in Dorset. I think we'll have a go down there.
Hi, I thought I'd just show you our seed beds now. I am just doing some weeding. There's lots, it's basically just clover. There's a few other weeds, but for some reason clover loves it here, so we've got to weed because otherwise it will take over and it will smother. See, like this one here, I don't know if you can see it. Well, the aces are very small and the clover gets a lot larger, so that will smother the light and it'll actually kill them off. So yeah, it's it does take a while, but it's actually quite therapeutic because it looks good once you've done it. That's it. But there's a lot to do, and it's very, very hot, that's why I've got this stupid hat on. My sister will be back soon, hopefully. Sophie, who does all our potting. So she'll be starting on some of these, plus digging them up. But if it's this hot, this is the south-facing part of the nursery, so this gets the sun all day, and because it's been so hot, when you dig them up, we have to shade them, otherwise they'll just wilt and die. So we have to shade them whilst we're digging them up out of the ground. So we put this big like netting just on the area that we're digging up. We lift them, put them straight into a bucket of water. They go in with Sophie and she'll pot them, and then we keep the net around the area that we've been lifting, because obviously it could expose the roots of the other plants which are left in the ground, which will dry them out. And it's so intense, this sun at the moment, that it will just kill them off, and we don't want that, because it won't take very long at all for these to die if they were in the sun with their roots exposed. And then they go in the tunnel, and then we have to put netting on top if the sun is if it's a cloudy day it doesn't matter, but if the sun is out most of the tunnels are south facing, so we have to put netted frames on top just so they don't burn, because they're so fragile at this stage. They're so little. You got to look after them. And sometimes, not that time, but sometimes you might pull out a little plant, little acer, and you just, what I do is just prick a hole with my finger and put it back in. It should be fine. As long as it's surrounded by the others, they kind of shade their roots. But it's very nice. Even though it's hot, it's nice being out here because it's quite breezy today. But hopefully the weather might turn at the end of the week and we'll get a bit of rain, which will be good. It's a big day at the nursery today because Sophie's back. Where is she? Come on! Hang on, it's a bit of an anticlimax. Where are you? Oh, I see you haven't sped up since you've been off.
Come on, Soph. Toy finger out.
There she is! Yay!
Oh, she's Potter.
The one on the right
8,000.
and the one on half of the one on the left are all dissectums. They're dissectums that we've picked, seeds that we've picked from our dissectums in the nursery, and they're nearly 99.9, well, 99% dissectum. I've showed them before, but now you can really see the leaves now they've woken up. So how many do you reckon there are? 9,000 dissectums, which is very exciting because we like dissectums here. So yeah.
They normally come about 70%.
Yeah, they normally
70% green.
70% green, but there's a lot of purples.
No, 70% non-dissected.
Oh, 70% non-dissectum. Here's the others. To the whole. Oh, bed of them. We're just weeding the seed beds. Oh, I have a stick. It's just given me a pointy stick. And I've just found over here is a little variegated. It's got pink variegation. It doesn't show up as well on the camera, but the red bits you can see are actually pink. That's a little seedling, so that's where, when that gets potted, that will get kept back to grow on and see what it does in the future. Whereas here you've got like this discoloration is where the clover would have covered the leaves up, and then when it was exposed to the sun it would have burnt because the foliage would have been quite soft and green from being under the clover. It's burnt in the sun. Yes, lots of little plants. Here's one of thousands. I'll show you these lovely little eaters that my sister and I have been potting. My sister Alice came up today and did some potting, which was a great help because it meant that I could help Matthew do some weeding. But yeah, there's all those Akazuki. We've got August Akazukis, Aconidifoliums. What's up there? There's Shishio Improved. Hopefully they all look like they're turning into autumn colours. Well, some of them. But that's just because they're a bit starved. Now they've been potted, they'll get their roots into the compost. They won't change physically to look at for a little while because they'll spend most of their time sorting their roots out, and then once they've done that, they'll put on a bit of growth, which is good. See, these are the ones I did. A couple of, I don't know, I've been doing them. It's taken me a while because there's so many, and there's only one. We've only been short-staffed, obviously, because Sophie, my other sister's not here. But yeah, these are all slowly getting there. Some of them are put on growth already. So these will be ready to sell sooner. They'll be ready to sell a couple of weeks. But these over here will take probably August. They'll be ready because you don't want to sell them too soon because they'll just fall out the pot, which isn't a great look. Oh, and these here, I've left this block here. This is last year's Shishigashira and Makariatsubusa. They look great. Some of them are huge. but I'll just keep them here because they're with the dissectums, which keep the special ones together. Yes, it's very hot in here, but I'm going to go out now. You see that, just show you the difference that is. So these Shishigashira here are the same age as these Shishigashira here, but these ones were picked out and potted this time last year, and these ones back here I've only just potted. They were the ones that we left over. We picked out the biggest ones, potted them up, and these are the leftovers. So you can see the difference in what, like, if you don't pot them up. They're almost like they're a whole year behind, really. Yeah, lots of weeds as well.
Shagging swallows. Right.
Is that how you're going to start it?
Yeah.
I heard the dingo and then you've just said shagging swallows.
Go on.
We're talking about inter-swallow, not...
Right.
Yeah, this is Diacia personata. It's a big herbaceous form of Diacia. And just like the bedding plant, I mean, even the bedding plants actually now, they seem to be surviving the winter and coming back fine. But this one is a nice, tall, herbaceous and hardy form. And I was going to say it's a piece of piss from cuttings, but all my cuttings last year died, so I won't say that.
How do you lose a Diacia cutting?
I don't know. The year before that, I think I only lost about 2 out of about 50.
Right.
Last year, all of them died. I don't know what I did wrong. But anyhow, yeah, so I'm not bothered about it, Flan. This is just our stock plant, so I'm just going to take it all off, take it all back. I'll show you, I'll cut this length off here. I'm not going to bother with any of the really soft stuff at the end. I'll probably go as far back as that, because that's no good. And then I'm going to use, you can more or less use the entire stem, really, the Diacia. And I'm going to be quite lenient with some of them. Some of them I'll leave like 2 little leaf joints like that, just to get them long enough. Normally I would only maybe leave a pair of leaves at the bottom to rub off and then leave one at the top, but I think there's going to be plenty of material, and we're doing them so early we'll probably get a second crack at the cuttings anyway. But yeah, I'll just
Close up of
rub those leaves off.
You just rub the leaves off.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sort of plant. I think it'd be so vigorous because I think you can just more or less root it in water. You wouldn't even necessarily need to have a leaf jointing. It'd be like some of the salvia cuttings. You can actually just take a piece of stem and it could root from it. And just dip in the rooting hormone. And then wash it in there. I'm just going to use grit and perlite. Because like I said, just so long as they're kept wet enough, they should root into this. No problem. That's how I did the first time, and when I first did the cuttings I didn't bother using any compost. Here I'm just going to do a pair of leaves at the top, pair at the bottom, put them off like that, and so long as I keep them wet enough and the weather's mild enough, I'm not going to bother around pissing about with that stuff of cutting the leaves in half. These will be fine. If they don't take, they don't take. There's plenty more to go at. And just do that the full length of that stem. I mean, when I get down here to these little bottom bits, I'm not going to bother trying to make 2 cuttings out of that. I'll just make one decent one.
You would call this a nodal cutting.
Yeah.
The node's the lumpy bit where the leaves were.
As I say, like, I would imagine I might even try some if I want to be adventurous. I could try some internodal cuttings where you just end up not including the node, but I can't see the point. Is that
excellent? And you're going to get 3 more in there, or?
Yeah, I'll stick more in there. People will be bored enough now watching me do these cuttings, surely.
Well, they've probably been bored enough anyway, because as soon as you started. Look at the dog. The dog looks bored.
Oh, she's always bored.
We are getting on with these delphiniums. They go right down the centre path at the moment, but I've still got more to do than right round. But we're in the midst of a piddling rain and the gales right at the moment, so let's have a look in here. It rains. The wind has pushed this pine around. A little bit of an update. Do you remember the little Acer seedlings we pricked out? Well, they're now starting to put on some extension growth. They're doing fine, some of the alpines. This is a very nice helianthemum. I particularly like this one. It's you don't see it very often for sale, and this is one called Raspberry Ripple. It's a little, sometimes called rock rose, but I like this one because it's a bit bicoloured, pink and white. It's a very, very, very nice thing. And they're relatively easy to do from cuttings. We'll do some of those later in the year. This is a Synechio called Angel Wings. Now this has got PBR on it, but so we have to buy young plants in and grow on, but it's very thick, silver, fleshy leaves. It get much bigger than this. These are about the size of the palm of my hand at the moment, but they are very, very sort of pubescent, I would say. Hairy. Some vegetable plants. I did grow some tomatoes this year. There's one called Bloody Butcher and another one called Gigantea. But a bit behind with them. There's some various Lathyrus vernus we've picked out. Young veratrums. And just some odd bits of bedding that we've managed to get hold of for people. Here and there. There's some eucalyptus. In this tunnel, there's a lovely old ivy that they used to use. Down at the hall was a finishing school. You may remember the hall was used in the filming of a television series called Debts to Ladies. It was, before that, it was, years ago, it was a proper finishing school for posh young ladies. This was used in flower arrangements, so we're not quite sure which variety of ivy it is. But it is very, very nice. It's not fully hardy, which is why it's undercover. And of course, next to it, they used to use in wreaths of the lovely jasmine. Just a straight jasmine. You obviously can't get the scent here, but it's very, very powerful. And these are some of the peonies that we pricked out earlier. These are the ones that Thomas acquired the seed from. They're starting to grow in a bit now. And various odd bits and pieces that we've got from Expedition seed, or people who have grabbed hold of seed, just unusual plants. There are some nice young little snow gums over the back. This is Eucalyptus nifophylla. I think that's the species name. They're very small at the moment, but they grow like hell. That's it really. Some clematis cuttings we did last year. I need to stake those. Now I did have access to a very nice Acergricium with really good peeling bark, and out of about 5,000 seed, about 20 germinated. It's very unreliable Acergricium seed. Hardly any of it is ever viable, but we have a few, and I'm looking forward over the next 2 or 3 years to see how they grow. That's it. That down there is an osteosperm, and we call it bunny killer pink. If you want a plant that rabbits will not touch, some of the osteospermums, the hardy ones like Wisley Pink, or this one, we don't know what it is. It's been here years, and rabbits won't touch it. It is genuinely hardy and rabbit proof. This is an annoying plant. You see this? This is specimens to plant out of the cedar Roman candle. I mean, they're lovely. And they've been like this for about 3 or 4 weeks now. However, when they start to green up, they do look rather insipid because they don't have the bright yellow colour of the golden horizon or the golden aurea cedar, or the silveriness of the glauca. But they don't have, the glauca and the aurea do not have the beauty of the Roman candle. This beautiful display, and this has gone on a long time. They really are worth it, but they want to be somewhere really where they're out of sight some of the year, but still bold when they're in flower and you can still see them. But it doesn't really matter when they look. I'll show you what I mean in 2 or 3 weeks' time. But they are quite a stunning thing. And these are pagoda trees. These are large specimens we're selling. These are about £125, but they are 6 or 7 feet tall, some of them 5 to 7 feet. They are lovely. And such a clean colour for a variegate, you know. Don't look diseased at all. They, like some variegations do, they just look nice. A quick update on peas in a container. Absolutely fine, but I, in my wisdom, decided to try and use the central space to grow some radishes, which, okay, probably worked well. The bulbs are swelling a bit. However, the peas were having a tendency to flop a little bit towards the middle. So all I've done is stick a little bit of string around just to pull them out towards the stock netting. That's all. It's not a question of them not going up the stock netting. It's just that they were also going outwards into the middle. So perhaps it might not be efficient to grow radishes. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. I would hate to waste the space though in a container. But other than that, they're fine. Growing up, they should reach, I think they'll get up to almost the top of it. The tendrils are cracking around, you know, they're twining around here like nobody's business. So they'll pull themselves up by their stocking tops pretty soon. Right, I'm now looking at the lettuce and I need to thin them. The leaves are perfectly all right to use, but they're not heavy-hearted lettuce. I would be tempted more to go for the little gem types in the future. However, we will thin them and leave 2 or 3 of each just to grow on. So what I'm going to do is just pull the whole thing out. Now I don't know what this is going to look like, but it's come out very, very easy. There's plenty of green there. There's not a big middle, but it's a reasonable lettuce. I'm going to leave the root on because you can sometimes sit this in a glass of a jar of water and it'll last a fair old time. But some people just put it in the fridge. This is heading off to my mother-in-law, and I think we'll just send her down a red one as well. Let's take one of these. And you can see these are just thin-ins, so the rest of them will grow quite well. Perfectly all right. There, that should get me some brownie points. Everything else is doing fine. Beans, the old runners are starting to twine their way up. You can see at the back there, they're doing fine. It's been a really cloudy week, but the courgettes have grown in. I'm very pleased that I didn't that I put this really low down, because I do get the feeling that the courgette plants are being held up to some degree by the side of the pot. They're not feeling wobbly like they normally do. In fact, you can just see in there's a baby courgettes coming. This one looks like a baby's tadger. There. Yes, the actual carrots, they're not obviously not ready, but if we look down into there, we can see there's some really nice, quite thick stems down in amongst here. Another 3 or 4 weeks we'll be thinning these down to about an inch or 2 apart. And then we'll just use them as baby carrots. They're perfectly all right. They're nice like that, actually. Very sweet. But I like a good sized carrot. Oh, I'm all right keen on them bloody fannying around with them little pissers. So here's the poplar that Clara was pruning. You can see it's like a totem pole. The foliage, the new foliage that's held close to the trunk is that lovely Populus candicans colour. It's not as white as I would have liked, I'm surprised, but the tree I think is on its way out anyway. But it has that lovely pink and cream and white tones to it. Oh, and the old Tangutica is looking lovely now. These lovely yellow bells of Clematis Tangutica. When you get a good form like this, it's really important to propagate it vegetatively. If you do them from seed, and believe me, they are very, very easy to do from seed, you get all sorts of weird and wonderful shapes. They're all you very often get pissy, most of them are pissy little things, but this one's a really good sized flower head, sometimes described as like orange peel. You know, you just peel it back, but I never peel an orange like that. I just cut the bugger in half or quarters. Where are them dogs going? They're up to something. What are you up to? You little bastards. Is there bloody delphiniums everywhere? That's a nice colour, isn't it? A lovely blue that is. Molly Buchanan. These are just young plants. These are the, as I've said before, these are the crown buds we did last year. And you've seen at various times over the course of these videos as we've progressed with them. There's hundreds of them. But a little bit of sun and a little bit of warmth and they come out. Now this bears no relationship to the plant that you will get in the end, which will be 3 or 4 times the size. 3 times the size, I'm exaggerating. But the stems will be, oh, really thick and strong, and there'll be loads of them. But that just gives you, at this stage of their life, it just gives you an indication of the colour. That is a cracker, isn't it? I mean, look at that, that's a beauty. Geranium celostemon. A lovely, lovely plant, lovely geranium. A bit gangly, but it's a very nice flower. Why am I getting the feeling that you lot are up to something? He seems to have some sort of purpose. Yeah, I'm bloody looking. Yeah, bugger. I'm going to follow him in a minute. I have conversations with my dog. Yeah, oh, crackers. Here's a little thing, a little heartwarming story. This tree was sold. This is a weeping blue cedar, Cedrus Atlantica glauca pendula. It's the last one we had, and it was sold to a Mr. Hamner. And it was taken down on the tractor, all the way down the bottom. It was stuck on a tail lift, loaded into the van by John, Lisa and Thomas. And then Thomas noticed something in there. It was a little nest. So we rang up Mr. Hamner and said, look, we're sorry, but there's a nest in your things. And he was agreeable to hang on and wait a week or so for his tree. We had some others to deliver to him. And we were very skeptical about if these would survive or not. But Lisa insisted that they be given a chance. Well, despite the 3 days of piddling rain and the weather and their little adventure, they are thriving. I've watched the mother backwards and forwards feeding them, and she sat in a tree above me now, slightly pissed off, wondering what I'm doing to her chicks. Well, I think they've had enough adventures for one lifetime. Could you explain to people, please, Thomas, why it's called a bearded iris? Oh, yeah.
What, a little beard?
Yeah. You're liking that, aren't you? You know, the sooner you get a girlfriend, the better.
We haven't we didn't break this far off. The customer who bought the plant managed to break it off.
They must have been really pissed off.
Well, that bit's like the ridge in the mouth there. That's like, I would say it's more like a tongue, actually.
Right.
And you got the beard.
Yeah.
Does that open wide?
Oh dear. It's come off in your hand.
Yeah. People want to know, this is, I think it's Colette Thurley.
Colette Thurley. The irises. That's the variety name. Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Colette.
Don't let Lisa see you doing that. You get in trouble for being infantile. Not juvenile, infantile.